What's going on, brothers? What's going on? It is your dude, Mr. International Passport, here again for another future classic live stream. First and foremost, how's my audio? Is my audio good, BMI?
I hear you loud and clear, bro.
Thank you, bruv. Thank you. Who's here in the building? Type a one. If you can hear me loud and clear, type a one. Who is here? Shout out to Ozzy in the building. Who else is here? Type a one. Dart rolling two in the building. Awesome, awesome. So let's get straight into it, okay? Thank you for confirming the chat, Marvin, Baseball Clips, Aussie. So, brothers, welcome to another Future Classic live stream. First and foremost, please like the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit the super chats throughout tonight, and you can, of course, hit the PayPal donation too. Aside from that, you can join the Patreon for intel on stocks, crypto, IT, and intel on how freaky foreign women are in the bedroom. You can also book your IT consultation with me for IT guidance and advice by the kindly link in the description box below. Okay, copy your merch too. Get a t-shirt, get a hoodie. That'd be greatly appreciated. So let's get straight into it. Okay, I got a very special guest here called Mr. BMI, who is here to speak about Senegal for the first time ever on this channel. BMI, how's your day going so far, bro?
Man, it's good, man. It was a great week, and I'm glad the weekend is here, man. So it's all good. Yes, sir.
Awesome, awesome, bro. Brother, what did you have for dinner before the stream?
Oh man, I had some Indian food, man. I had some tikka masala.
You make it yourself at home, or you went outside to buy it?
I went outside to get it. Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
thought you
yeah.
might have that jerk and rice and peas and coleslaw. What's happening with
Ah,
that, bro? What? Come on, man.
not today.
Not today, bro. Not today. So,
Yeah. Hmm.
BMI, I want to say thank you very much for your time on the channel. And before we speak about
Excellent.
Senegal, brother, give us a brief intro as to who you are, where you're from, anything it's just about you, bro.
Yeah, so my channel is BMI 3000. I've been on BMI 3000 Reloaded to be exact. That's what it is.
Hmm.
And BMI stands for Black Men's Independence. And my channel is it's a Black Men's Empowerment channel. Um, I've been doing this since 2020,
Hmm.
and I focus on brothers' mental fitness, their travel, finances, politics, everything related to black men, man. So uh, that's what I do, and I'm by profession, I'm a professional scholar. Yeah, I'm a professor.
Awesome, awesome, bro. Awesome. So, BMI, I'm super excited. This is the first time ever I'm doing Senegal, right? So
Okay,
I have
awesome, awesome,
a lot of questions, bro. So
awesome.
how about, brother? We start with why go Senegal in the first place? I'm assuming that your main spot, Dakar, right?
Jakar, uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Why
yeah,
go
yeah.
there in the first place, bro?
Well, I mean, Senegal is West Africa, number one, and I was drawn to that part of Africa because of the history and the slave trade and all of that, and just the kind of legacy that is there. Um, and also, I mean, it just Senegal has a very very um, rich, cultural tradition. It's a Muslim country, and there is a very, very vibrant um, Muslim and African culture that is there. And I got my first opportunity to go there in 2022. I went there initially with a group of professors for a seminar on religion and politics, and spent the week there. It was an awesome experience. And then I decided to return um, later and dig more into the country for myself. So yeah, my first trip was like in June of 2022. Spent 2 weeks there, and then in September of 2022, I went back and spent over a month in Senegal, and then I went back again in February of 2023. Yeah, yeah. So I went repeatedly because my initial experience was so enriching, man, that I had to do it again. And it was a great experience for me. So that's kind of the kind of the basics of how I found myself in that part of Africa.
Amazing, brother. Amazing. And brother, so your main spot in Senegal is Dakar. Nothing else in Senegal.
Yeah, yeah, Dakar. I traveled. There's a uh, one of the first city in first established city in Senegal is called Saint Louis, and Saint Louis is 4 hours away from Dakar. Um, I had the good fortune of going there when I was with these other professors, during my first trip. So I did that, but my subsequent trips, all of my subsequent trips have been primarily in Dakar. But Dakar is the main, it's the capital, it's the main city, the main attraction. But there are other parts of Senegal. Oh yeah, and I've been to. I forgot to say this. There's a place called Touba. Touba is an hour away from Dakar, and I happened to go to Touba actually on my second trip to uh, to Dakar in September of 2022, and I went there for an annual Muslim festival um, that they have there, and so Touba is a um, very important place in the history of Senegal and the Senegalese, particularly the Muslims Sengalese's history of resisting the French um, there. And so Touba is a city um, that has a legacy of resistance there, and they have an annual celebration every September where people from all over the country gather. And so I did visit Touba. And then there's another city which I have not been to called Sally. Sally. So Sally is really a tourist city, um, and Sally is probably to Senegal what Mombasa is to Kenya. Yeah,
Interesting. But your favorite city is Dakar, I'm assuming.
yeah, that's where I've visited the most. Uh huh.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So, brother, now Senegal, right? When it comes to accommodation, where do you normally stay? Is it Airbnb? Is it hotel?
Yeah, so I did both. Um, Hotel and Airbnb. The first time I was there, I stayed at a hotel, and then actually, yeah, because I was there 2 weeks. So I did a hotel, and then later I did an Airbnb. Um, but I've done both. I've done both, and it all depends on I typically do Airbnbs in terms of length of stay. So if I'm going to be somewhere longer than 7 days, I would typically do a an Airbnb. And but if it's like 7 days and under, I'll do a hotel. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, bro. And brother, which do you prefer?
I prefer the Airbnb. And yeah, I prefer Airbnb because Airbnb, it's I mean, they work well. I mean, there's a little more. I mean, you can get privacy at a hotel, but there's more privacy in the Airbnb, and yeah, you don't have to, deal with the flow of traffic, typical flow of traffic that you get, with hotels and everything, you know, and and you don't have to deal with their schedules and that sort of thing. Um, and yeah, so that's kind of that's my primary preference. It's just and plus there's more space. Yeah, more importantly. So when I get my Airbnbs, I get 2 bedrooms. You know, um, much bigger living room space and what have you. You've got a kitchen. It could be 2 bathrooms, 2 showers, or what have you. So um, the accommodations in terms of uh, comfort and accessibility, is a bit more, and yeah, so there are restrictions that hotels have that Airbnbs don't.
Wow, awesome, bro. So, brother, next question for you is: so in Senegal, right? I know
Mhm.
it's a majority black country, but who's in power there? Is it the black Senegalese people, or is it another race of people or hidden group of people? Who's in power there, brother?
It's mainly the Senegalese people. Yeah, it's just it's a black um, led place. Now Chinese are there. Uh, you know, they have their thing going on there. You've got Lebanese people that are there. Um, you have different kind of Arab adjacent groups um, in Senegal. I have not seen a lot of South Asians there, um, but yeah, they've got a strong Chinese presence. But the in the French, obviously the French. When I was there, things have kind of shifted in terms of the French-speaking Africa within the last 2 years, especially with Burkina Faso and Mali and some of the other French-speaking countries who have been um, breaking away from um, French control. And so in Senegal, at least when I was there, the kind of stirrings of that whole movement were going on, and so in politics, um, yeah, there was a big push to become more independent from France, but the currency is French. The currency is French, so you
Mm,
have the Zafa, and that's their currency, you know. So the French are in the background. Um, um, but in Senegal, there's international. Canada has a presence there, um, but the leadership, it has a strong black leadership. In government and in business, they're doing a lot of good things.
awesome. So, but black people are progressing in Senegal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've got no, I mean their leadership has not been without problems. They just elected a young president within the last year or two, and he appears to be someone who is real serious about um, um, you know, making Senegal um, independent. You know, and he just recently they just recently ended birthright citizenship over there for Lebanese women. Yeah, and so yeah, they're really they're real serious about sovereignty and being more autonomous as a country. Um, yeah, so they are. It's there. There, I would say Senegal is yes on the move, bro.
This is great. This is great. So the ending birthright for Lebanese, great, awesome, awesome. Um, so, brother, next question for you, brother, right, is so you being a Western black man from America, right?
Hmm.
How were you treated in Senegal? Are Western black men embraced there? Yeah, how you treated in terms of treatment?
It's a mixed um, bag. Um, I would say you know in general the treatment is good. Uh, Senegalese people tend to be hospitable and um, they're open and everything. Um, um, but on the other side, Senegalese, I mean, they're French. Their background is French, and so they have there's some French airs that are there, you know, and they are familiar with what we do in the West, but they are a bit insulated from us, um, which kind of creates a kind of ignorance or whatever. So, the French can be very, I don't know if you spent any time in France or whatever,
Nope.
but I mean, the French think that they think they're better than everybody, and
Mm,
so, um, you know, they left that kind of mark on the Africans who they colonized, and so that's kind of there. You know what I mean? And so, and you kind of see it even with the those who are among the upper classes and stuff like that. You know, yeah. So they have their view of us is been distorted by media because they just think we're entertainers and stuff like that, and they see the crime TV, shows and movies and stuff like that, and they see just a very limited view of those of us in the West. But at the same time, they've been influenced by us. They've copied what we've done in popular culture and in sports and in entertainment. But I would just say, just in general, there's a welcome vibe. Um, and like I say, man, a lot of it has to do with in the differences. It has to do with the fact that this is a French speaking country, and so if you don't speak French, and then the native languages roll off. Yeah, and I mean, no one expects someone who's not native to speak their native language, but if you don't speak French, that can be a problem, and that kind of fuels certain attitudes toward you. You know what I mean? Because it's like you come to our country, but you don't speak our language or whatever. You know.
hello.
But a lot of people speak English. I mean, there are people who speak English and what have you. The educated people, the educated people that you meet speak English. Um, the upper classes, the middle classes, they speak English and everything. Um, but when you go down in class, not so much, you know. And I would say it's the working class people, um, the regular, ordinary people, the non-elite people. They can be very friendly. Yeah, they can be very, very, very friendly. So that's kind of that. That's been my experience there.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So, brother, now in terms of investments, right, in business, is there like investment opportunities and business opportunities there in Senegal?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's that. I mean, they're really trying to build there. Real estate is big there. It's real big. Um, so if you're interested in doing that, there's lots of opportunity in terms of transportation. They don't. The last time I was there, they don't have like Uber, they don't have Lyft, they don't have global um, cab services or what have you. Um, there are certain type of services that you can get all in modernized cities that you can't readily find there. So any entrepreneur could take advantage of that, uh, if they wanted to. Um, but the big thing is what I saw, is mainly real estate. So if you're a builder, um, you can do that. And then tourism, if you're in the tourism industry, um, there's a lot there in terms of that. There are opportunities um, that exist. But yeah, it's I think it's ripe with opportunity. You know, but like I say, you have to speak the language, and you have to do your research. Kind of looking into that.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So, brother, in regards to Senegalese people, right? Tell me the average personality of a Senegalese person. Are they kind people? Are they happy people? Are they introverts or extroverts? Or are they nasty people? What's been your observation there?
No, man. I mean, it's a like I said before, it's a mixed bag, but overall, Senegalese people are laid back. I mean, they're welcoming, um, and they're approachable. I felt very much at home. All during all the times that I was there. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like um, a major outsider. Um, but they have they're kind of like I'll put it to you like this. So Senegalese people, in terms of their ethnicity, they're kind of like Nigerians. And what I mean by that is that Nigerians have a very strong Nigerian identity. You know what I mean? And it's like it's Nigerian and Nigerians and everybody else. Okay, and that's true even in relationship to other Africans. And Nigerians are like we're better than everybody else. um, and it's like I say, the Senegalese people, they can have that kind of arrogance too, you know. And there's a and like I say, it comes down to the class thing. When you start dealing with the class thing there, um, it's a real thing, man. And they have a sense of being African royalty. You know what I mean? And there's that long history in terms of West Africa and the impact of Islam in West Africa, man, and the kingdoms that once existed, um, in West Africa and everything. And so this thing about royalty is a big thing, and then you mix that up with the legacy of the French, who were very classist and very elitist, and so that's on the culture. So kind of like the Nigerians who have that kind of thing. We're Nigerian Senegalese. They know they're Senegalese and all that, but they're open. Um, and they're regal people, man. They're respectable people. They're hospitable. There's discipline, there's order because of Islam and everything. And yeah, and it's really, like I say, the people who, you get a lot of warmth among the the non-elite people. Okay.
Mm.
And the thing about this, I mean, there's a lot of money in Senegal. There's a lot of, like I say, there are a lot of elite people there. You know what I mean? But there's also a lot of poverty and stuff. And you don't have like a real, and I'm being generous by saying there's a middle class, but I'll just say this. Yeah, the non-elite people, you know, um, are a bit, they're a bit more laid back and everything. You know what I mean? And don't have the type of, they don't have a whole bunch of arrogance, stuff like that.
But brother, the elite people in Senegal are black people.
They black, yeah.
Okay. So brother, now how do the Chinese, Lebanese, and other groups of people treat? How are they like, brother? Are they arrogant, brother? Are they kind people? You know,
I
how
mean,
do the
yeah,
non-Senegalese people act? Go on, bro.
yeah. I mean, the Chinese. I mean, they're the same way everywhere they go. You know what I mean? And um, they have um, the Chinese company Huawei. I think that's how it's pronounced. The tech company. They have a big presence there, particularly in Dakar.
Mm.
And yeah, they're a big presence. They're a big employer there. Um, and yeah, the Chinese, I mean, they run what they run. They're responsible for the highways that are there. They're responsible for the rail system that is there. They're responsible for a lot of infrastructure, um, in Senegal. And just from what I understand, they tend to stick with their own people when it comes down to infrastructure. And they treat Senegalese people the same way they treat Nigerians and Kenyans or whatever. They bring all that money and they bring all those resources there, and they're able to get things done. And so, and their host country is at an economic disadvantage because they're in debt to the Chinese. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So the Chinese can afford to be arrogant, you know, and they are. So as far as Lebanese, you got the Lebanese people there. I really didn't interact with a lot of Lebanese people in all the times that I visited um, Dakar, and yeah, actually didn't see. They were there, but I just didn't interact with a whole bunch of them. You know what I mean? And my interactions were mainly with Senegalese people. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, bro. Not a lot of Indians out there, right?
Yeah, I mean they got Indians, but you got to look for them, and yeah, you have to look for them. I didn't run into um, a lot of Indians um, in my trips there. Um, they're there. I just didn't run into a whole bunch of
Okay, okay, bro. So, brother, now when you first went to Senegal ever in your life, right? What was your first impressions? Did they exceed did they exceed expectations? Or was it lower than your expectations? What was your first impression of Senegal?
Well, my first trip was really my first time going to Africa.
Mm,
And so yeah, I got my African experience. This is my window into you know my entree into Africa, and um, it it the expectations were, um, I would just say I had realistic expectations. You know what I mean? And I didn't expect to walk into a paradise or anything like that. I didn't expect to go walk into hell. Um, and so I was just happy to um, encounter it. But I would just say this: um, after my first trip there, I was inspired to return again and again. So um, obviously, my experience was very positive, you and so I don't have. Um, I really don't have anything negative, um, to say, about the experience. It was a good starting point for someone who uh, wants to begin travels through Africa. Yeah.
awesome, awesome, bro. So, brother, in Senegal, right? How do you meet people and make friends there?
Yeah. So, it's a social. The thing about beautiful thing about traveling to Africa. These are my experiences. Um, people are social, and it doesn't take a whole lot to meet people, and you just have to know um, where to go. You can go, downtown. You can go in markets, where everyone does business, um, and you see all kinds of people shopping and selling, um, and people are approachable. So yeah, you can do it in a traditional way. You go to the markets, or you can go to the tourist areas. Um, they have that you have your nightlife that's there, um, and if you have hosts, if you know people that are there, um, that's a good way to to connect with people. But if you just move around and get out and about, um, it's not difficult. It's not difficult to meet people, man. And like I said, and they tend to be, um, open and friendly. You know what I mean? In general, um, yeah. And like I said, they will know where you're from if you're not Sinhalese, if you're a black person who's not from Africa, you weren't born there. Um, you know, they you know will know that they know that immediately. You know what I mean? And so they will um, deal with you um, accordingly. You know what I mean? And so that's how you have to kind of deal with it. But it's not difficult, man, to meet people. Yeah.
Awesome. So, brother, in terms of transportation in Senegal, right? How Do you move around as passport bros? How did you move around? Was it Uber? Was it taxi? Was it train, subway, bus? Break it down for me, bro.
Yeah, it was mainly taxi. Yeah, and there's no Uber when I was there. Um, yeah, you don't have any global transport um, companies that are there, and they have local transportation, entities, and they have apps for them and everything like that. But it's mainly, yes, it's taxi and um, transport. I mean, there's plenty. I mean, there are taxis everywhere and everything like that. But the taxi drivers speak Wolof. They tend to speak to the majority of them. So there's a language thing. You have to know how to do business. If you don't speak Wolof, you have to at least know how to, communicate with drivers, with some French. You got to find a way to communicate with them to get to where you want to be. And yeah, and so that's probably the biggest, challenge. You have to get taxis on the street and what have you. It's not like um, it's not a like an Uber environment, you know. And yeah, so if you're not used to that, then it's going to be somewhat of a challenge for you.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah, and so and there are a lot of road projects that's going on there. The infrastructure, um, they have highways and all that kind of stuff, but they've got paved roads and um, they've got dirt roads. So the thing about Dakar, so the car is built on sand, and it's the way it's located. It's built on sand. It's built on what was uh, once desert, and so you have a lot of gravel streets, sand streets, or what have you, in addition to paved roads and all of that, and so um, you have to deal with that, and then you have to deal with the rain, and when the rain gets in the streets, you got mud and all that kind of stuff. That does affect transportation and how you get around. Um, but yeah, you have to deal with that issue, and yeah, so navigating the car, it's a doable thing, but you need a little patience. uh,
Mm.
you need a little patience, getting around and stuff like that.
So once you get like a one taxi, can you request for the guy to be your driver for the whole trip? I think that's quite common in Africa, right? Having drivers. Hey, I'll pay you for a week to be my driver, pick me up from my hotel. Is that what you should do?
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that you know um, that you can do, or what you can, what happens. I mean they do have people who do that. I mean they do have like services. Um, like if you do the hotels, or if you do a an Airbnb, generally somebody like with the hotels. The hotels, they can make arrangements for you to, or either connect you with people that can function as drivers. And then even when you rent privately through Airbnb, the owners, they can hook you up, with people as well. You know what I mean? Or you can do it even at the airport and everything. So uh, yeah, that is something that is available. Uh,
Awesome, awesome, bro. So, brother, out there in Senegal, is it cash or is it cashless?
It's cash. Yeah, it's
Mm,
cash. So it's cash. Now you're gonna need cash, especially like with the taxis and transportation and everything. Um, what I put like this, it's the the high end areas. Um, I mean, you can use it's cashless, but everything else I put like this is cash, and the market is cash. Um, you have to be the cashless areas tend to be the upscale areas, and yeah, kind of more high end parts of the city. Um, and what are some parts of downtown when you're doing business, but um, it's yeah, you would need cash, you know, to make kind of regular exchanges.
awesome. Awesome, bro. So, brother, next question for you is let's see. So, food wise, brother, what's your thoughts on Senegalese food? Do you like it? If so, what was your favorite cuisine out there?
Oh man, so um, jollof. Senegalese are and the Nigerians and Ghanaians don't like this, but Senegal is the home of jollof, and it started with the Senegalese people, you know, and so I mean you have varieties of jollof: chicken jollof, beef jollof, fish jollof, and yeah, that's the decide for me. That's the number one right that right there, and then they have other kinds of dishes. It's a because they're by the water. Um, it's you have a variety of fish cuisine that you can choose from and everything. Um, but yeah, you can't get around the show off, man. And then when you're eating it with a group of people and everything like that, man. So that's my thing, bro. So I mean, but
So,
there's a wide variety of choices that are there.
so you find so you're telling me you like Senegalese food and your favorite is
Yeah,
jollof.
yeah,
Awesome,
oh yeah,
awesome, bro. So, brother, cost of living, right? When you
yeah,
compare cost of living of Senegal to America, which is more expensive, which is cheaper? Break it down for me, bro.
yeah. It's expensive, man. African, living there, the dollar and the zafa. The last time I was there, I don't know where they are now, but you know, um, it's almost 1 to 1. And I haven't checked the exchange rate recently. Um, in other words, Senegal is expensive.
Damn.
It's not cheaper. If you move there, you're going to spend the money that you would spend living in the U.S. Um, to live comfortably. You're gonna spend there. So you're not going to a. It's not a cheap country. I'll put it like that. Yeah. So yeah, it's not a cheap country. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Interesting. All right. That's interesting. Okay, so going on from there, brother, right?
Yeah.
How much was your accommodation per day in Airbnb and hotel?
So I got I paid $1,000 a month for the Airbnb I had, and and that's not bad. I mean, no, it's not that's not a bad um, deal. You know what I mean? But $1,000 US last time I was there. You know, and hotels. You'll spend hotels a little. They're not that bad. I mean, you can spend $45 per day um, at a hotel, at a very decent hotel. You know, and yeah, those are the kind of prices I was uh, working with. You so yeah, and then other things. So your other expenses. If you live in Airbnb, you're gonna pay for energy. You're gonna pay for electricity, and that can that can be costly. Um, and buying food. Um, I lived in an area that was relatively um, upscale called Gore. It was suburban, um, and so depending on where you live, yeah, you're gonna pay. You know, and yeah, in terms of what your lifestyle, you can live. You can live relatively cheap. Depending on where you're located um, in a city. You know, but um, yeah, it's you're you really got to look for you really have to look for inexpensive accommodations when you're there.
Okay. Okay, thank you, bro. So, brother, so you're telling me food costs as well in Senegal was
Uh-huh.
comparable to America.
Yeah, yeah. You go to the grocery store, you know, and yeah, the prices are they're not that far apart, man. And yeah, that was my experience, last time. Um, going out, I got my, you know, getting my laundry. I don't do I normally send my laundry out, and depending on where you are, that could be cheap or expensive. um, yeah, um, but yes, I would just tell you for anybody who's listening, if you plan on going to Senegal and you're going to stay there for an extended period of time, um, be prepared to spend some money.
Okay.
Don't go
So,
there. Don't go there broke. Have some money.
so brother, right, when it comes
Yeah.
to cell phone roaming in Senegal,
Hmm.
does American networks work there? Or do you have to get like a Senegal SIM card to roam internet over there?
You can do both. Uh, I never used a SIM card when I was there. Um, yeah, my provider works well, and I never had a problem.
So, brother,
Um,
your provider covered Senegal,
yeah,
and then it didn't. There was no extra cost.
yeah,
Damn.
my provider covered it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a problem. Um, Now I know others who they have to they get SIM cards and all that kind of stuff. Um, but Yeah, in terms of phone, man, I didn't have any major. I didn't have any major challenges um, or issues or what have you. You know,
Mm.
and of course, I mean, I could have got a local sim or whatever. And, you know, you know, it had a little different kind of accessibility, but um, I had it. I had everything I needed um, with my provider. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So next question for you, brother, right, is safety. Now, you being by yourself in Senegal, or maybe with friends, or in a group of people in the daytime and nighttime, were you safe there? Is Senegal a safe country?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a safe country. Uh, Especially during the daytime, and it's relatively safe in the evenings. Um, yeah, of course you don't want to be out alone in certain areas after a certain time. Um, but it's relatively safe, man. You don't have a lot of they got criminals and all that kind of stuff that they do everywhere. But you're not like if you go to downtown and what have you. You don't have to have a whole bunch of anxiety about getting robbed or getting pickpocketed or stuff like that. I mean, those things happen, but if you just take basic common sense precautions, um, you'll be all right. But it's not a violent, you know, kind of place where you have to be constantly looking over your shoulders and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it's Muslim. That's the other part of it is that you know in uh, in the Muslim country, yeah, like that, um, the the religion itself, it has created a certain kind of atmosphere, and so it's a very it tends to be safe, and especially and once you learn it and you learn how to navigate getting in and out of the country and everything. Yeah, you're cool. You know, um, you're gonna always have the thing about it. Like you're gonna always have people who will. You always got people who try to scam you or take advantage of you, what have you. But it's not a place that's hard to navigate. Yeah.
Awesome. But did you experience any racism out there from non-Senegalese people, from the Chinese, Senegalese, or whatever, or any sort of, let's say, animosity from Senegalese people? Any sort of racism at all towards you?
No, like I said before, man, it's just um, you do have the sense. So here's the thing: it's like it's the Africans, and it's like it's the Nigerians. I would throw some of the Ghanaians. So you have some Africans, not all. The Africans harbor prejudicial ideas about us,
Mm.
and you can encounter that there. Okay, and yeah. So I mean, when I was there, yeah, I did encounter some arrogant Senegalese people. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And yeah, and like I say, it's a French arrogance, um, where they think that for whatever reason, they're better than you, um, because they're African and you're not, or something like that. Or I don't know you. They bought into a colonial mindset. Um, uh, yeah, and they have a certain perception of Americans or even African Americans. Because I'm a Black American, so you get that. But I have to say that it's not universal. You don't get it everywhere. It depends on where you are. And the times that I've encountered it, it's been among the elites. It's always among these upper middle class types, okay? Um, who I don't know, either they think they're better than Americans or think they're better than Black Americans or whatever. Um, and have it's a yeah, and there's a kind of anti-blackness that's there. You know what I mean? So um, I can only explain it through the legacy of the French that's there. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's like, I mean, if you've ever met an arrogant Nigerian, you understand what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And so it's just a thing that some Africans it's a thing that some Africans have, you know, and but it's not. But like I say, it's not universal, man. It's not everybody.
Okay. Thank you, bro. So the next question for you is in terms of culture. Is Senegal a conservative culture or is it a liberal culture?
It's a combination. Yeah,
Okay.
it's mixed. So um, they're very very committed to Islam, to their version of Islam, and they respect. They have their traditions and all of that. Um, you know, they believe in respect and social graces and all that kind of stuff. Um, but it's an open culture. There's a lot of tolerance. There's a lot of tolerance there. You know, you can, they have an entertainment, tourism, entertainment. Um, prostitution is legal there. Um, they're pretty tolerant, man. They're not rigid people. I'll put it like that.
But the liberalism we see in America and in the West isn't we don't see that much there in Senegal.
Um,
Keeping it PG, keeping it coded, like the rainbow stuff, and other any feminism. Do
yeah,
you see
yeah.
that
So
there?
that yeah, no, no, no. That's I'll put it like this. If you see it there, it's underground, and it's not anything that's celebrated or anything like that. Um, and no, the feminism is not. No, it's a patriarchal culture, man, and so and you got an element. I mean, you got women there who are educated, who have certain leanings and all that kind of stuff, but they can't operate the way in which women in the West operate under feminism and everything. And yeah, and so the rainbow stuff is not um, out there like that. You know what I mean? And yeah, so they've got a firewall there, even though they're tolerant and they have openness. They've got a firewall when it comes down to certain cultural beliefs and practices.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So, brother, now let me ask this, right? So, in terms of American influence, right, and French influence and Western influence, how bad is it over there in Senegal?
Um, it's mainly the French, man. The French, the French is, that's their, they speak French. They got French currency. The French they still have their hands in their economy and their affairs in many ways. Um, so you do have this difference. Just still, even though you have um, a new generation that's trying to break free, um, you still have deference to all things French. You know what I mean? And yeah, because you got I mean, the French are all over. They they're very, very entitled. Um, you see it now. You see a lot of French people there, and and they're very, very entitled when it comes down to how they deal with their former African colony and everything, and their relationships with them, and like with the women, you see that, you know, um, yeah, the Frenchmen, they come over and they get the women and stuff like that and take them back to France, or they have the concubines um, right there in Senegal, and it's that zaddy thing is real deep, So
Damn.
um, yeah, it's a real thing, bro.
Yeah, we have to break it down. It's now in the stream. Um, but are Senegalese men pushing back? Are they now like, no, this is enough? Like, what's going on here? Are they becoming more, you know, Senegalese people first? Is that what's happening, brother, right now?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the main thing. I mean their recent president is one of them. Is they're trying to do what Burkina Faso and Mali um, have done. You know what I mean? But they're being more gradualistic. Mali and Burkina Faso have been very, very aggressive in terms of breaking free from France, and they're very militant. And so um, that militancy they don't have that. I mean, they're pushing, but you don't have the kind of militancy that you see with Burkina Faso and Mali and everything. Um, but you do have, like I said, they have a very young president, and um, he's serious about the country being sovereign and not totally dependent and controlled by outside entities. Yeah, so it's there, and so they're part of the new shift. Yeah,
Awesome. So, brother, lifestyle, right? So, when you were there in Senegal, right, what was your lifestyle like? Were you living a high class lifestyle, middle class, or low style lifestyle?
yeah. I live the lifestyle I live here in the U.S. Yeah, so uh, I live in an area called Gore, and Gore is moderately upscale, and it's close to a tourist area called Almadies, and so like I said, man, I had a very nice apartment, and I had all the amenities. I was close to a mall. Um, yeah, it was. You would say it was suburban, you know. Um, and yeah, so yeah, it wasn't a change. I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I didn't live in a hostel, brother. I wasn't, or I wasn't. Um, doing the vagabond thing. You know what I mean? And so, um, yeah, I lived in
So
a very
you're having a
nice
good
area.
time,
Yeah,
spending money.
yeah. I had a good time, man, and I liked the area where I was, and um, I was around a lot, and what one says. So when you talk about a suburb in Africa, particularly in in Senegal, Dakar in particular, the suburb can be a composite. So it's like they have their upscale areas. The way it is in there is that people that have affluence, they are not that radically removed from the people who don't have affluence. You understand? And so what that means is that you can you can go to you can live in an area um, where um, you have people who live in very fine homes, drive Range Rovers and everything like that, who are who don't live very far from people who don't live like that. You know what I mean? Don't very far from the market. So you don't have this radical distance, although you don't really have a middle class, although you have like an upper class and then you have everybody else. They don't live completely segregated lives. Yeah, and that's reflected in the infrastructure, architecture, and everything. You understand? And uh, yeah, so I mean, you can go to like I was the last time I talked to you when I was in Nairobi. There are parts of Nairobi where you can segregate. If you have enough money, you can segregate from people who don't have money. Okay, and and you can live kind of distant from the regular people. You know, but um, when I was in Senegal, you didn't have any. I didn't see a lot of rigid segregation going on there. Yeah.
So the average Senegalese person lives a normal life. Is that what you're saying, bro? Not really poor, not very rich, just normal life.
I mean, you got. I would say that your average, you might call them the working class. Um, the regular common folks. Um, they, yeah, you got the working people, man. You know, so they're not rich. You know what I mean? And your average person, I wouldn't call them like abject poor or anything like that. You know what I mean? And I would use just the language of you have a sizable population of just regular working people that are there. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay. So, brother, let me ask this right. So, tell me about what can we do there as hobbies or as tourists there in Senegal that you recommend? What are things and hobbies to do there?
Well, you got the beach, man. You got a lot of beach that's there. There's a lot of water, and they've got to exercise. They've got a very strong exercise culture there, and um, you see people working out, running. You see, there's a lot of fitness stuff that's going on there. You know what I mean? So if you're into fitness, Um, yeah, there's a lot that accommodates you if you're into fitness, you know. And then you got the beach, and there are a lot of opportunities, entertainment, um, that is there, restaurants, lounges, that sort of thing. Um, um, and then people have, you would really have to it would be advantageous to you to hook up with people who live there and who, you have family. This is a very family of, obviously Africa, but the family oriented thing is very, very strong, so you hook up with people who are involved in family events. So it's like I told you, I traveled to this place called Tuba, which is about 90 minutes outside of Dakar. And I traveled with a Muslim family. And Tuba is really it's a large Muslim event, but it's a family event. It's just driven by family. You know what I mean? And so you hook up with people who have those networks. You can meet a lot of people, and you get involved in a lot of activities. And yeah, and hook up with local people and do things with them. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of opportunity to stay busy.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So, bro, let me ask this right. So, language. So, what do we speak out there? Is English enough, or do we have to learn French or the African language of Senegal?
Yeah, so it's if you really want to access it, French. If you want to navigate it, learn French, and initially you don't have to become a master at it. Just know how to get around, know how to communicate socially with people and travel and stuff like that. Um, but if you really want to take full advantage of Senegal, it's kind of like going to Brazil, man. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to access Brazil, learn Portuguese, and that's the way into the culture. The language is the key into the culture. Now, do you have to learn? Not necessarily. I mean, I've met people there. I've met Africans and non-Africans who've been there, a couple of years, um, or been there for an extended period of time. Don't know French. Never taken the time to learn French. Don't want to learn it. Um, which I don't think is a good thing. That's not. I don't share that type of perspective. You know what I mean? If you're gonna live there, um, I think that you should learn the language, especially if you're going to, be social. You know what I mean? And yeah, um, so yeah, so when you do that, it only works to your advantage. It only works to your advantage. And and the thing about it, like I said, I mean, here's the thing. So if you're a foreigner, they know you're a foreigner, and you have made the effort to speak French, and then even beyond that, you make an effort to speak Wolof. Yeah, man, that um, adds a lot to um, how they interact with you. Yeah.
Okay. So, brother, let me ask this right. So, now, brother, in terms of weather, when you were there, what was weather like, brother, in Senegal when you were there?
Yeah, so I was there during the summer and the early fall, and so warm weather, and I wasn't there during the cold season, and it's just tropical weather. It's tropical weather, bro. Yeah, it's tropical weather. So you got to dress for the weather, especially if you're going in the summer months. And well, I mean, it tends to be warm all year that time that in that part of the world. And they might. I mean, there's certain seasons where the rainy season where it might get a little cooler than normal or what have you, but you just need to be sensitive of which time of year you travel there. Yeah,
Awesome, awesome. So, brother, nightlife. Did you pass? Did you pass it at all?
yeah, I did, and
How is the
yeah,
nightlife
man.
like in Senegal?
Oh, great. I mean, it's things they know how to party, you know, and yeah, Senegalese people know how to party, and um, like I said, there's an area. Much of the nightlife is in the area called La Almadies, the Almadies, and that's where you find there are a lot of clubs and everything. Like um, I've posted some of that stuff on not too much of it, but on my YouTube. I've got some shorts, YouTube shorts, where I was in front of a club, leaving a club early in the morning on an early. Well, I was there Saturday night, but it was Sunday morning as I was leaving and everything like that. And it's just very vibrant. Yeah, just very, very vibrant. And you can meet, and you can meet all kinds of people, and things don't get started until like after 10 p.m. Yeah, so um, and they don't, and they will go early into they will party from 10 p.m. to um, 6 in the morning. You know, and you can party like that. On a Wednesday, on a Thursday. Between Wednesday, it's mainly Wednesday through Sunday. That's when they party real hard. Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, the nightlife is vibrant. Yeah,
Did you what kind of music did they play in the nightlife, brother?
Afro beats and mainly African, type of oriented music. Um, they play some Black American stuff, but the times I've gone there, gone out in those clubs, yeah, they real heavy with the Afro beats and stuff, and yeah, and the African music and everything, and it's all good. Yeah,
Awesome. And brother, the rap music they play, right, is N word censored, and are Senegalese people saying the N word?
no, no, they're not.
Great,
They're not doing
good.
that, man. Yeah, so they're not. Like I said, I mean, they played some American stuff and everything like that, but they're not like, yeah, they're not into that. They're not playing a lot of the, hardcore stuff.
Okay. And brother, they don't say the N word out there, right? From what you
No,
heard.
no,
So
no. I hadn't heard it. Yeah, I
great.
hadn't heard of people saying it in language or in the music or whatever.
Towards you.
And not nobody said that to me.
Great. Fantastic. Fantastic. Um, so brother, what were your favorite clubs? Do you remember any names that you recommend? Any favorite bars and clubs you recommend?
I just give you one club. called the patio. So that's one club. Um, it's all in the Almadies. Now some, that was the club I went to. Uh, you know, number of times and everything like that. Um, and but there are other, like I said, if you're in that Almadies, the whole area is called the Almadies, and uh, yeah, there are a lot of places to go.
The Almadives. D is that
A
ALMODIV?
yeah, ALMADES. Yeah,
Awesome.
Almadies. Yeah,
Brother, in the nightlife, right? What kind of women are there? Is it mostly three or fours, or can you find wife in the nightlife in
you're
Senegal?
not gonna find no wife in a club. No, no, you're not gonna find. Don't go to the club. Look, don't go to the club looking for a wife, bro. Um, you're not gonna find them there. That's just
Mm.
real, homie. Yeah, yeah. It's 304s. Yep.
Damn,
And that's it.
damn. Okay, good heads up, bro. Bro, were they trying to get at you? The three or fours in the nightlife, or how was the whole
Um,
game?
yeah, I mean they choose. They would choose, and yeah, I mean it can go either way, but they choose, man. They will come at you. Um, and then they're approachable, you know, and so yeah, man, it's. I put it like this: it's a buffet, brother. I put it like that, and it's wide open.
Okay, interesting. Uh, okay, interesting, brother. So the next question for you, right, is so we have a lot of IT bros on this channel.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't answer it, but in your honest opinion, from what you saw there, is there like a IT market there, remote working market? If you don't know, it's cool, bro.
I believe there is, and yeah, um, tech is big. Tech is big there, and yeah, it's very big. Um, I've talked to people who they work in that area and stuff like that, and so if that's how you're oriented, um, yeah, there's a place in the market for you, for IT people. You know what I mean? Um, so it is, yeah, it is IT friendly, man. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, bro, awesome. Um, Brother, did you see other Black American men out there, other Western Black people out there, or did you see more non more non-Black Western people out there from like England, but white people or whatever?
Um, the people, the Western people that I met were mainly white, and did I run into any, Brits, Caribbeans, um, Americans? No, I really didn't run into a lot of those people. I met. You can meet some different Africans there. You can meet some Kenyans there. Um, but yeah, I mean, you'll run into. Like, yeah, the white people, uh, the white people, the French white people, and then you have, the American white people and the Canadian white people and stuff like that. German white people. Yeah, you can find them there. Mm.
How did they all treat you?
I
Or
didn't I didn't deal with them. I didn't
mm,
really interact with them, but um, you know who they are, and then you get to the people that you meet there, they will tell you about them. But then when you go out, I mean, you know who they are when you're out there. If you're out and you're going to restaurants or whatever, um, yeah, because you have some establishments that go out their way to cater to them. So you have some establishments that they
okay,
they cater in primarily to the white tourists.
but these are black-owned establishments, right?
Well, they look like on the surface, but they could be actually white. Some of them, I believe, are white owned, but they have black employees, um, and they cater to the white people. Yeah.
Damn. So, brother, so you've been around Senegal. I think you've been to 3 places, right? Or two. Rank for me from 1 to 2, 3. What's the best city? Then tell me why. Second best city, tell me why. Third best city, and tell me why.
Well, in Senegal,
Yes.
well, it's only. I mean, I can only talk about Dakar because I spent most of my time at Dakar. You
Okay.
and so yeah, that's the only city I can say that you know. Um, I would put at the top because I spent most time there and everything like that. You know what I mean? And like I said, there are other cities there which I haven't. I went to St. Louis. I was there for a short period of time, and then there was Tuba, which was also a short period of time. And I've never been to Sally, um, which I've heard a lot about, and I've been encouraged to go to Sally. Um, yeah, um, because apparently Sally and Dakar like night and day.
Awesome. So, brother, now tell me about the bad parts about Senegal that you don't like.
Um, well, I mean, like I say, if it's the infrastructure. There's an infrastructure part of it. Roads and getting around. It's the transportation thing, the taxi situation. Is can be a challenge. And here's the thing. I mean, most of the people don't speak English, and the taxi drivers are, they live hand to mouth, and you know, I would just say that you don't have uniform taxi service. I'll put it like that in there. You meaning that quality just varies. And yeah, and you have the communication issue, um, with drivers and stuff like that. And like I say, just getting around. They still have a lot of infrastructure to work on there.
Okay. So, brother, should brothers travel alone or in a group? to Senegal? Tell us why, depending on what you pick.
Um, I'll just say what I did. My first trip was with a group, and then after that, I traveled by myself. By myself, So if I go to an unfamiliar, generally, it's not happen all the time. If I, you know, go to a place where I've never been before, um, I try to do that with a group first, then I'll follow up with a solo trip and everything. And but yeah, you can travel solo. You know what I mean? It just takes it. You have to be able to plan. The big thing is navigating the airport, getting in and out. You have to deal with the airport, and the airport is like 45 minutes away from the city, and you can fly in, travel in. Either you get a plane that comes in early in the morning, um, anywhere between you know. Uh, 5 and 8 a.m. You know, and you have to know what you're doing, to get to where you're going, and that's the thing. And you're gonna have to, in terms of like the thing about solo travel there again is you have to navigate the taxi system and getting from one part of the city to the next, you know, and so that is for a first time person, that's going to be a unique challenge. Yeah, and but it can be done. It can be done, and just plan, just plan. You know, but if you have anxiety about going to a place like that for the first time, it doesn't hurt to go with a group, uh, or the thing is, if you're going to be, if you just want to, if you want something that's, let's say, less difficult, like the tourist area is called the Almadies. You can travel to Dakar, and you can get hotel accommodations in the Almadies, and you can have them. They will arrange your transportation to and from the hotel, um, and you can also just restrict your entire stay to that one area. So if you restrict your stay to that one area, like I say, it's a tourist area, um, then you don't have to worry too much about. You don't have to worry about taxis and all that kind of stuff because you're not leaving that area. Um, but if you're going to go into other parts of the city of Dakar, um, then you're going to have to venture out with taxis and all that kind of stuff. Um, but if you're just like I said, if you're going to be limited to just one area, tourist area by yourself, then you'll be able to navigate it.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So, brother, now let me ask this, brother. So, overall, out of 10, what do you rate Senegal and why?
I give Senegal. I'd have to give Senegal a 9.
Damn.
Um, yeah, because it's a vibrant place, man. I mean, culturally, and um, I'm a guy who enjoys the history and everything. Um, if you've never seen like African um, Islamic culture close up, um, and that's something that you're interested in, man. Um, it's a sight to behold. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, the cultural. There's the cultural side there. It's just the Muslim culture, because they still have a sense of order and family and decency and all that kind of stuff. And they're not a people that's in disarray. You know what I mean? And like I say, I don't want to, make them seem like they're without flaw. They're not. But other than that, you can get some of that. You can get that in. You can get that in Gambia too. Gambia is right next door, and but Gambia does English there. Gambia is much smaller, uh, but yeah, just a very vibrant culture, man. If you appreciate that, um, they are not as lost as people are in the West. I put it like that. But they're not lost. Yeah, like the people in the West. Yeah.
Interesting, bro. Interesting. So, brother, let me ask this right. So, to go on to the woman part. Actually, before we do so, brother, so what are the tourist areas in Senegal, in Dakar?
La Ahmadis.
Okay.
La Ahmadis, that's the main area. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, bro. So, brother, let me ask this right. So, Senegalese women, right? Do they like Western black men, brother?
Uh, yeah. Um, I think just general black men, you know. But yeah, they're open to you. You know what I mean? And yeah, they're. I dealt with the ones I dealt with. Um, they do, and so they're very much open, and they're very good company, nice to be around, you know, and yeah, so they don't have the the prejudices I was talking about, you know, before I dealt with this. These were so you got the men. It's the men um, who can have a certain type of attitude, and the men are kind of some men. I've gotten this. They can be some of them can be protective of the women. Yeah, so they're protective of the women, and not all of them. In general, they don't care, you know, about what the women are doing and all that kind of stuff. But um, I know I had encounters where the guys, you know, overly protective, what I mean. But the women are open, you know what I mean. They are open. They are open, you know, and it's just how you approach them, how you communicate with them, and like I say, if you make a little effort to learn a little conversational French, that can help you out.
So, brother, what about the non-black Senegalese women? Are they? Did you see them with black men? Are they checking for brothers? Some the Lebanese chicks, the Chinese chicks,
I have
etc.
no
etc.
clue. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I didn't deal with them. I just dealt with the black women, man. That's it.
Okay.
That is it. Yeah, 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 yeah. And they have some of the most beautiful women, the most beautiful black women that you'll ever see in your entire life. Um, some of the most beautiful black women that you'll ever see. And you could run a competition between Senegal and Kenya, and it would be tough. It'd be stiff. Um, yeah, there's the Senegalese, and the thing about Senegalese, I mean, they have when it comes down to dark skinned women, yeah, they've got some of the most gorgeous dark skinned women that you can lay your eyes on. So um, all day long, there's an abundance of beauty. There are no deficits when it comes down to attractive women. No deficits whatsoever. None.
Interesting. But you mentioned how about white Frenchmen are coming there and taking the woman. Do you want to speak on that, bro? Is that a big problem?
It's a thing. It's there. I mean, they don't take all the women, but um, they got access. You know, and yeah, because the Frenchmen. I mean, the idea of the European, is the white man got money and all this kind of stuff, and status, and he's God. You and yeah, I mean, you see. I mean, I mean, it's. You can go to Mombasa in Kenya, you can see that stuff there. You know, but the Frenchmen, and you got the French soldiers, you got these older French males and everything like that. Um, yeah, you see it, man. You see it in the airports and stuff like that, and it's visible. I put it like that, you know, and the ones that and these are they have the, I mean, and I would just say the high end 304s. That's what they be with. You got them high end 304s, them 304s who are tens. Uh, yeah, it's not uncommon to see them with the French guys and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So let me ask you, right? So w- what's the average personality of a Senegalese woman, brother?
Personality.
Hmm.
I mean, they're open. They're not difficult to approach.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, generally they're not difficult to approach. But like I said, you need to. You might run into you know some that speak English. Um, but in general, most of them most of them don't speak English. So that's the issue. And so um, that's the challenge that you have. Um, and and then again, remember, you're dealing with a Muslim. You're dealing with the Islamic culture. So you know you need to be tactful in how you approach um, with that and everything. A lot of women, they get married young. And you got to know when you're approaching a younger woman who's married. And yeah, so yeah, in general, they're hospitable, not a bunch of attitude. Like, you're not going to run into a whole bunch of attitude. You know what I'm saying? You might. I mean, they have. You got women that got attitude and stuff like that, but just in general, when you're meeting someone else, if you're a stranger and what have you, um, they are not hard to approach at all. And you know, um, and like I said, bro, um, if you know how to converse with them just at a basic level with French, you can make um, serious headway. Yeah.
Okay. Now, brother, are they, on average, are they wifey? Can we find a wife there in Senegal?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, you're not gonna find them in the club. Yeah. So you got to go out. I mean, it's a Islamic culture, bro. You're not gonna, um, you know, I would say the culture produces wives. They got them there, and yeah, you go to a Muslim country like that, um, it's not hard to find women who are, wife material. Um, yeah, they're there, you and yeah. So the only thing about it is that if you're a non-Muslim, you have to deal with the fact that you've been a non-Muslim, um, because they have their own protocols for non-Muslim men who enter into Muslim families, and so that's something that one has to deal with. Yeah, and other than that, you know, you might meet somebody who's not rigidly Muslim. You know, and not everybody's Muslim, so they have Catholicism is the larger um, branch of religion there. So it's Islam, then there's Catholicism. So people are either raised Muslim or they're raised Catholic.
Awesome, awesome. So, brother, tell me 5 things you don't like about Senegalese women.
I can't tell you 5 things, man.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't tell you 5 things, and because I haven't had, I haven't had many problems with single Senegalese women, and all I can say is, uh, women are women all over the world, and women are hypergamous and everything, you know, and they're no different. You know what I mean? So if you're going there and you're not, and anyway, if you're going to travel there, the assumption is that people, brothers who are traveling to Africa, got some resources. That's just, you don't travel 7,000 miles, 6,000 miles, and don't have the means um, to carry yourself um, in a country that you know um, costs the way it does. You know what I mean? So you're in a different bracket, you have a different status, and so that carries over into your interactions and the dynamic that you have with women. You know what I mean? So um, yeah, and yeah, and you do, you have as a foreigner, there's a little bit of currency that you have that you bring to the table that works to your advantage. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, bro. Brother. So I'm guessing age gap relationships are very common in Senegal. you can be a guy who's 38 and be dating
Yeah,
in
that's the norm. That's
21.
the norm. It's
Awesome.
normal. It's normal. It's normal. It's normal. Cool, cool, cool. Well, listen, brother, I'm gonna have to get up out of here, man, real soon. Um,
Oh, okay.
did you wanna, you have any closing questions you got for me?
Yeah. So, brother, let me ask this right. So tell me, in terms of the woman, right? Uh, tell me, how to go about finding wifey in Senegal. Is it, going to certain? Is it going to the bar? Sorry, is it going to like the library or the park? Break it down for me, bro.
No, bro, you got to get out, and uh, there's the market. The market's the area where the people do business. You've got to find those areas um, where things are thriving. You have to get out. You know, you got to hit the pavement. You know what I'm saying, and get to meet people. You know, and they're not hard to find. I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, it's yeah, kind of thing, man. It's not like the West, man, where everybody is isolated and on their phones and stuff like that. You now, of course, yeah, I mean, people do the phone thing and everything like that. You got Tinder. Tinder, if you can meet people on Tinder. Um, or whatever dating apps that are being used there. But you have to hit the pavement. The women that I met while I was there, I met when I was out and about. You and met them in the market, met them downtown. Uh, you know, met him as she was catching the bus home from work. You know, and so um, yeah, you got to hit the pavement. That's what you have to do. Other than that, but the bars, you're not gonna find. I wouldn't even go looking for no wife in a bar, bro. Or you in the entertainment stuff. You know, um, yeah, yeah. That's not what you're gonna do it. But they have all sorts of custom. They have all sorts of festivals that happen and cultural events. And so, if you know what the festivals are and the cultural events, um, where you have large gatherings of people, and you've got food and you've got music. Um, if you know the inner parts of the cities and the different areas, um, where you can find events and markets and stuff like that. Um, there's a place that was not too far from where I was living called Quacom, and I would go to Quacom quite a bit, and Qualcomm is basically an area. You've got this is residences, you've got markets, you've just got um, everything that you know, um, you know, drives people. You know what I mean? And you can go there. I would go there on a Saturday afternoon and just walk, and you just see people just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, yeah, you especially you go to where the markets are. You go where the merchants are doing their thing. You're gonna find, hundreds and hundreds of people, and you're gonna see, beautiful women, everywhere. You know what I mean? And so that's where you that's where you engage, bro.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, bro. So, Mr. BMI, thank you for your time, brother. Much
All
appreciated,
right.
bro.
Yes, sir.
Brothers, let me know what you thought in the comments, and brothers, we'll see you on the next one.